everybody. I just saw you a second ago, but you don't have to do both these workouts in a row. I'm just behind today. We are going to do a back and glutes focus for this one. We're going to keep the same thing we've been doing, 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, 5 rounds. That's it. So this workout will be the third one for this week. Then the next one will be an arms and core focus. And I hope to get one more core focus one in. I'm shooting for 4 to 5 workouts per week. If I can figure out how to use YouTube all the way, it would be much easier. So today we have single leg glute bridges. So you're really gonna need a mat for today's workout. Let me slide it back a little bit so we know what's going on here. And there are 2 exercises that you can make a little bit harder for today. So we're just gonna get started, I guess. Let me walk you through the exercises and then we'll see what's going on. So here you're going to be single leg glute bridge. So one leg down, make sure that right here, this area, your knee is behind your toe. You don't want your foot so far back that your knee comes over your toe. And you want to keep this foot here flat, toe to nose. So your knee stays behind your toe on your plant foot. So an easy way to get that position is just to bring your leg up and set it down where it falls. And then you're going to lift up and back down. Keep your leg up the whole time. To make this one a little bit harder, you can find a ball or something to balance on, a little bit of a wobble for underneath your stance foot here. So we're going to do 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, and we'll switch legs and we'll do the other side. The next one is a bob. I call it a bob because it's like a good morning that you don't stand all the way up with. So you're going to be here. You can cross over your chest. Actually, let me come to, this is fine. You're going to cross over your chest. You're going to come down all the way. Keep an arch in your back, and you're just going to bob like this. Up and down. Pretty awesome. If you want to make this one a little bit harder, you can put this weight here. You're going to come down, keep that arch in your back. Up and down, just like that. The next one we're going to do is an alternating prone cobra. Superman. A Superman is what most people call this. So you're going to be here. And opposite arm, opposite leg. Try to get your entire leg off of the ground. Now to make this one harder, you can use a weight. So it would look like this here. With the dumbbell. I have 5 pounds here. That makes it pretty difficult, but you know, grab some 20s if you're up for it. So those are our alternating cobras. Last but not least, we have the good old jumping jacks. Star, soldier. Star, soldier. Jumping jacks are my favorite because people get really discombobulated with them. So that's what we have. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to walk through. Hopefully you guys feel it. Hopefully you're all feeling a little bit sore. Yeah, I'm excited. Here we go. All right, so we're going to start on the floor. Here we go. Straight leg up. Whoa, bad form for me there. Okay. So in the last video, I got on kind of a rant about asking people on Facebook for, sorry guys, you should have your palms up here. What that does is by having your palms up, hands flat, that engages your erector spinae and opens up your chest a little bit so you can make sure you get the most out of the exercise. Yeah, so I went on a little rant about asking people on Facebook for advice on nutrition. Overall, guys, it's a bad idea. If you want some advice on nutrition, don't take it from the person who lost 25 pounds trying something. Take it from the person who understands the body, not necessarily even me, but just somebody who has the knowledge and education of the human body. The crazy thing about the human body is we all need the same things to fuel, different variations, different amounts, different yada yada, but we all need the same things to function at health. Now, in my opinion, health, there you go, drive through this heel, guys. So your stance leg here, all your power is coming through that heel. There you go, palms up, toe to nose. Yeah, just lost track of what I was saying there. It's important. You only get one body. All of our bodies need the same fuel. I just talked a lot about keto in the last video. anytime you go to a calorie deficit, you're supposed to lose weight. So let me throw out an example there. I'm going to use some names. I'm going to make it to names of people I don't know. So if it is your name, I don't know you, I'm sorry. These are examples, and I just want to use fictitious names, so I do not offend anybody. All right, stand up for Bobs. I'm going to do my Bobs and face you so it's less awkward. Maybe it won't be less awkward. Let me try it here. All right, and so guys, also with these exercises, when I show you guys a harder way to do something, I'm going to try to not do it the harder way. I want everybody to feel included in these workouts. So I want to do it the way that I think most people will try it to start. So that's why I'm not using the bar for this one, and I won't be using the weights for the Cobras. I want everybody to feel comfortable, and these aren't about showing off what I can do. Just kidding. Man, I'm talking about 45 different things here, huh? So let's see. We're going to use an example of, there we go. Let's say Sally and Jim. As a matter of fact, I do know a Sally and I do know a Jim, but I've never trained them or spoken any kind of nutrition with them. So this should be okay. All right, guys, we're going to get back on the floor for alternating cobras. Really use this one to focus on your stretch. Good. I don't know if you can hear me very well from right here, but so let's say Jim is a 35-year-old male who weighs 250 pounds and he's 5 foot tall. So we'll start by saying every single doctor on the planet is going to call him obese. Regardless of his muscle mass, his fat mass, it doesn't matter. Every single doctor on the planet is going to call him obese because his BMI will be high because he's short. So that being said, Jim goes on a calorie deficit diet. In all reality, most of us don't eat enough calories to start with, but we'll just pretend for argument's sake that Jim does. Let's say currently Jim is consuming 3,000 calories a day. Let's also say that Jim hopped on the InBody and his basal metabolic rate is 2,200. So he's consuming, a basal metabolic rate, by the way, is how many calories you burn before exercise. So like what your watch is reading, you have to add that to your basal metabolic rate. So his basal metabolic rate is 2,200, he's consuming 3,000, and let's just for math's sake and me getting off on another rant, he does not exercise. So he has a pretty, here we go, he has a job in concrete, and most gentlemen, and maybe females too, but in my experience it's been males, most males will use a construction or manual labor job as, I don't like the word excuse necessarily, round one, done. They'll use it as, they'll just say, hey, I work out for a living, or my job's a workout, which is great, but it's not. It's difficult, it's strenuous, it's tough, and by all means, you probably don't feel like working out afterwards, but like a bricklayer, for instance, or a masonry, that's a concrete worker, right? Yeah, I think so. They have super strong backs. Their backs are so strong. Backs of the shoulders are strong. But chances are, everything up in here, the front part of them, is very underactive, which leaves them susceptible to injury. That's why a lot of really strong manual labor guys who go really strong for 20 years can't really function with their bodies afterwards because they've created some very strong muscles, but by doing that, they've also created some very weak muscles. So let's say Jim, let's say he breaks up concrete with a jackhammer for a living. That's got to be a tough job. I've never done it, but I would like to try. So, you know, he is definitely not at a calorie deficit. He's consuming more calories than his body is burning. So he's going to continuously gain weight. Okay, so that's cool. He wants to lose weight. His doctor tells him he's obese, and his BMI would actually say he's morbidly obese. and he needs to do something about it. Overall, he's pretty healthy. He doesn't really have any problems. He gets sick about once a year, drives his wife crazy, and that's it. So a calorie deficit for someone like Jim at a 2200 basal metabolic rate would be anywhere from 1800 to 2000 calories a day. 400 calories, that's it. Now, to start, because he would have such a, to start really, if we say we put him at 1900, we'll go right in the middle. We're going to put him at a 300 calorie deficit to his basal metabolic rate. Going from 3000 calories a day to 1900 calories a day, Jim is going to lose a bucket of weight real quick. Not to mention, males lose weight way quicker than females do. So let's say he goes from 250 to 215 in 3 weeks. Okay, that's not necessarily all that unhealthy for someone in that situation. However, at week 3, he's starving, first of all, because his body's confused. He is losing weight, but he's lacking energy. And he says, or his weight loss stops. So on week 4, he's still just right at 215. Well, this is weird, says Jim. I need to go lower. So then he puts his body at 1500 calories a day. So his basal metabolic rate is 2200. And he is at 1500 calories a day. Oh, sorry guys, we're doing alternating. So he is going to lose another significant chunk of weight. Let's say he goes to 200 pounds in the next 2 weeks after that. So we're right at the beginning of week 6. Jim is down 50 pounds. He's at 1500 calories a day. And he gets sick. He gets really, really sick because he is not giving his body enough fuel to get through the day. His calorie jumps were too significant. And it depends on each person. But I know in my experience, I have never written any kind of plan with anybody to have more than a 300 calorie deficit. Even my girls that have competed, my guys that have competed on stage, never have I wrote them to be more than a 300 calorie deficit because your body can't handle it. It will go into essentially shock. But then there's that good old plateau. So we're going to give up on Jim here for a second and we're going to go to Sally. Sally did the fast diet, Fremont Church, or where, I don't know, they had a lot of places they did it at. But I will say the fast diet has changed their stuff a little since when I worked with Sally. Keep in mind, people, this is fictitious. I did not actually work with Sally. But a few years back, the fast diet took Sally. So Sally is 42. She is an office manager at a doctor's office. Is that a thing? Round 2 done, guys. Yeah. So yeah, she's a manager at a doctor's office, very demanding, full-time job, no breaks. It's a very unhealthy eater when she does eat. So let's say Sally weighs 42 and weighs 185 pounds. Let's say she's about 5'5" or so, that's a little bit taller than me. And let's see, yeah, weighs 185 pounds. So some perspective, it's not really fair perspective, but I weigh about 130, 135, and I'm 5'3". So, you know, she weighed about 50 pounds more than I do. Now, she goes over to the fast diet, she does her weigh-in. They don't care what her basal metabolic rate is. They don't care how much muscle mass she has. They don't care. They take Sally and they're like, okay, you're 5'5", you're 42 years old, you need to consume 1,100 calories a day. First of all, that's not how nutrition and bodies work. You have to take into account muscle mass and all of that stuff. And 1,100 calories a day is less food than my 10-year-old eats. So Sally went from 185 to 150 real quick. They also told her she should, let's say she doesn't exercise currently, but they told her she should do 30 minutes walking on a treadmill every day. So she got down there, she dropped that weight, her scale looked awesome, her body not so good, but she was skinny, and everybody wants to be skinny, so she got skinny. And at 130 pounds, she was unhealthy, but still skinny, and she plateaued. She stayed at 130 pounds. Well, what these guys people at the fast diet did was told her that her goal weight should be 115. When you're 42, you're 5'5", you should weigh 115 pounds, because that's what this formula says. So she thinks she needs to weigh 115. That's stuck in her head because these people told her so based off of her age and her weight. Or her age and her height, essentially, is what it is. So she is plateaued, she's struggling, she's unhappy, she's unhealthy, she feels loose and saggy and skinny. She feels skinny. However, she's not looking right. She's not looking how she thought she would at 130 pounds. So then Sally hops off her treadmill after her 30 minutes and comes over to someone like me. And I say, how many calories are you eating a day? She's 1,100. So adamant about it because they track all their stuff. I'm like, well, without even getting on an InBody, that's too low. That's too low of a calorie to take. And Sally looks at me with huge eyes and says, my favorite phrase, guys, well, I must be doing something right, it worked. That's my favorite thing for people to say to me. And I'll say, okay, let's go over how you're feeling, yada, yada, yada. So then at the end of me convincing somebody who's not paying me, just randomly found me in the gym, me convincing them that what they're doing is not that great, and to try to add in a few hundred calories for a couple days. So, convinced Sally, spent an extra hour at the gym when I didn't need to, and told her to spend 2 weeks eating 1,700 calories instead of 1,100. And then I told her I would give her a month of free training. This scenario kind of happened, guys. I would give her a month of free training if she did not lose any more weight. And I personally thought 130 was too low for Sally. Sally was not the person, guys. No Sally, just so we know. Sally was not the person, but I think Sally would have been comfortable at about 145 pounds. I think, oh, what are we doing? Jumping jack, sorry. I think that her body type was more around 150. But that's still a significant difference from 185 where we started. So Sally comes back to me after 2 weeks, hops on the scale, and by God, what do you know? She went from 130 to 125 in 2 weeks by upping her calories. Sally was amazed. She thought it was crazy. Then she talked to her people at the fast diet. They yelled at her, told her I was dumb, and I didn't know what I was talking about. And it was a fluke. So Sally goes right back to, hey, that's 3 rounds, 2 more. Sally goes right back to her 1,100 calories. And lo and behold, single leg glute bridges. Sorry guys, I'm getting off here. Lo and behold, she's back to her 130 pounds. She actually gained weight on a calorie deficit. Now, I explained all that to you because starvation mode is a thing. Everybody will lose weight on a calorie deficit for a short time. The problem is if you're at so low of a calorie deficit that your body cannot fuel itself, it will store everything you do consume as fat. Everything. So then, let's say you finally pull your head out of your backside and you realize that you're not eating enough and that you're harming your body, and you just start to eat everything in sight. Well, not only will you gain your weight back, you will gain extra weight because of all the stored fat your body has put inside of you. So, the moral of this story is, if you're going to be at a calorie deficit, it's going to take just as much time for you to lose the weight as it did for you to put it on. I mean, you did not spend overnight gaining 25 extra pounds. It took you some time. So why on earth would you think you could lose that 25 pounds overnight? I feel like I'm texting right now because I'm talking to myself, so I want to say out loud, question mark, question mark, question mark. That's it, just some food for thought. This leads me into getting on this rant about skinny versus healthy, but we'll do that on another day, and I don't want to offend anybody, which most definitely will. So, your body is meant to be a certain shape. I don't like facing you guys for that one. It's meant to be a certain shape. It's meant to be a certain size. It's meant to be a certain weight. You don't get to pick that. That's not your decision. You can manipulate it. You can alter it. You don't get to pick your body type. I'm sorry, Charlie, not even surgery can fix that one. So, my advice to everybody is to embrace the body you have. If you're little, if you're big, if you're short, if you're tall, if you have wide shoulders or a big butt, it doesn't matter. You have to embrace the body you have, fuel it properly, eat properly, exercise properly. Notice that word I used 3 times in there, properly? That was a pretty weak one, guys. My last one will be better. Properly, again, your body will fall into the place it's meant to be. And, you know, I've been a trainer for some time now. I have never met somebody who trusts the entire process, does not have a goal weight in mind, but maybe a body fat percentage, does not have a picture of, who are the hot girls? I want to say like Cindy Crawford, but I feel like she was hot when my mom was little. I don't know. So they don't have a picture of some supermodel hanging up at their desk or in their locker. I know none of you guys are really in school, but you just have to let your body do its thing. And I've never met somebody who did that, trusted the process, and I haven't met very few people actually go through this. Myself is one, I am one of them. Not be happy with the end results. So, I guess I'll use my personal story for this. All through college, well, my first bout of college, all through college, and high school mostly. I mean, I was an athlete all my life. Didn't work out as much in college, but stayed active, played intramurals, had some fun. But anyways, I was 90 pounds all the way through college. Just a tiny little thing. Okay. Well then, had an office job. I was, for about 2 years, I'd say about a year. The first year of Destiny's life, I was incredibly unhealthy. I was a new mom. I was working a regular 8 to 5 full-time job, if you believe it or not. I was learning routines and schedules. We were really poor. And all I knew was 4 rounds down, what I knew from growing up. So we ate a lot of processed meals, a meat and a starch at every one, drank a lot of dairy, and at work every day, last round guys, make it your best one. And at work every day at my office, it was a cubicle, for being honest. I would leave throughout the day to go do my stuff, and I would get those big, huge 22-ounce cups at Quick Shop of cappuccino. And you know, I'd put like 3/4 of cappuccino in there and a shot of coffee. And no exaggeration, guys, I was drinking, I don't know, 4 of those a day. On top of the dairy, the processed foods, not a lot of fast food because, like I said, we were poor, so we ate at home a lot. You know, and it was mostly just Destiny and I. So, that poor girl, she had a rough beginning, huh? But anyways, I never gained any weight because I wasn't consuming enough calories. I like to call it skinny fat. Because I was 90 pounds, yes, but I was probably 30% body fat, which for me is high. Don't smirk at me, guys, it's just a thing. So then, some time goes by. I'm a trainer, working at a gym at the front desk while I'm in school. So correction, I was not a trainer yet. And I was about 2 months into my journey of learning. And I get approached by who's now my trainer, Dave. And he told me, he said, "You would look awesome if you were strong." I was a little taken back by that. He was like, "Yeah, just imagine if you were actually strong." Because you guys better believe I was fit. I was not strong. And he goes, "You need to gain about 25 pounds. And in my head, I'm like, "You are a crazy person. I want to gain 25 pounds. But I've also never really been concerned with weight. The scale's not something to pay attention to, yada, yada. I know, I get it. Again, don't smirk at me. But he goes, "Yeah, we need to get about 25 pounds on you, and I want to put you on stage." I'm like, "Oh, that's crazy. Like, I feel like I'm more of a runner body style. I don't want to be big and huge and look like a man." Sorry, I've been called a man quite a few times with that. But I was like, okay, whatever. And he said the same thing to me that I ended up saying to Sally a few years down the road. "You try this. If you don't like it or it doesn't work, I'll train you for free." So I gave him a better one, because I was a cocky little crap. So you put me through a workout, if I'm sore, I'll hire you. Some advice, guys. Don't say that to a trainer, especially a good one. So, next day, we were at Blue Moon in Omaha. It's like one of my secret favorite places to go. He put me through, to this day, 9 years later, the hardest workout I've ever done in my entire life. People at the gym were stopping and staring at me because, well, I was stubborn, cocky and stubborn. I wasn't about to stop, but they could not believe 90 minutes later I was still going. Oh, I wish I could do that again. And at the end of it, my legs were physically shaking. I've only ever felt that one other time, and it was with Dave. But he goes, "We still have core." This was after 90 minutes, guys. I was like, "We still have what?" Core. So, got down on the ground, did my core. I couldn't stand up. I could not stand up. So he stood up, he looked right down at me, and he goes, "So when do we start?" And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Well, you gotta hire me. When do we start? Your show's in May." And this was like mid-March. So I was like, well, dang, a deal's a deal. I paid him his money, started training. I immediately dropped 6% body fat, and I gained my 20 pounds of muscle. It was awesome. It was hard. It took time. I was consuming about 2,700 calories a day. I was burning about 2,200. Now keep in mind, my goal was not a deficit, it was gaining. And by the time I got done, I was at 117 pounds my first show, 6% body fat, and I felt and looked amazing. It's the end of the workout, guys. Now that being said, I don't know if you guys have ever seen somebody on stage looking like that all the time, unless it's your job, is not feasible. It's not natural. So Dave is a great trainer. He put me on a backwards diet after my show, and he told me, what your body ends up like in 6 weeks is how you're supposed to be. Well, guess what, guys? After 6 weeks, I didn't lose any weight. I was not training as hard. Calories were going back down. I was down to about 1,900 feasible amount for a person. And I stayed at 117 pounds. I did not have a six-pack. I was still pretty cut. I had a flatter stomach. I mean, I just had a bunch of muscle there. So the muscle, seeing your abs is something that anybody can do over time. It's just, I didn't want to have the diet that I had to have to see my abs all the time. It wasn't that important to me. But eating healthy food, consuming enough calories, and working out regularly. I mean, I wasn't pushing myself the way I was for the show, but I was still pushing myself and, you know, getting to the gym every once in a while, doing a couple workouts here and there. And I stayed at where my body wanted me to stay, and it was wonderful. Now, here we are, 9 years later. I am 32 years old. I weigh 130 pounds. If I'm being honest with you, not all the way happy with my body, but you know, I have 3 kids. I work full time, and as of right now, I'm quarantined with a business shutdown. So bodies will change and bodies will adapt. However, if you fuel them properly, exercise them properly, and treat them well, they're going to reward you with a comfortable, healthy-looking, feel-good body. And that's what matters. I don't care how skinny you are. If you feel good, you feel like you look good, you got it. So, again, I just talked through this whole video. Lots of chatting today. Apparently I need a friend. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will have some actual real nutrition topics to talk about in the next videos. So, I hope to see you all soon.